Hey guys and gals, this is Graig Kreindler. I am the artist who painted the portraits for the Negro Leagues Legends baseball card set, which I think might be in this box here. So we're going to do a little live opening and see what they look like. Now, this package is from Game Time Corp. So those are the people who are distributors for this card set. So I do believe that's what it should be. Now this undertaking was an absolute highlight of my career and a highlight of my life, really. Wow. Rube Foster. Wow. The Chicago American Giants. This is very cool. Wow, so this is the box that the cards come in. There's Satchel Paige with the Kansas City Monarchs in 1942. This baseball card set honors the players of the Negro Leagues in celebration of the centennial of the founding of the Negro National League on February 13th, 1920 at Kansas City's Paseo YMCA. And this illustration is actually the Paseo YMCA. So let's open this guy up and see what we got. I will try to not destroy this box. Everything's packed pretty nicely inside. So, as I was saying, this project was really one of the highlights of my career and definitely of my life. Just being able to kind of learn about all of these men and women who played in the Negro Leagues and the Latin Leagues, and just kind of, being able to give people the opportunity to learn about them with me. These are people who are Hall of Famers. Some of you probably know their names. Others are people that you might not have ever heard of, but they're all very important in, what I call the overall tapestry of the game, the history of the game. So this is the first card, I believe, or maybe not. Okay. I might have messed up a little bit. All right. Here we have Cool Papa Bell, which was a favorite of mine. Alex Radcliffe. Frank Leland, the owner of the Leland Giants. Is another one of Cool Papa Bell with the St. Louis Stars in 1928. Henry McHenry for the Philadelphia Stars. Good old Elston Howard, the first African-American to play for the New York Yankees. Came up with them in 55 was his first year, I believe. Nap Gully with the Seattle Steelheads. Some guy named Jack Roosevelt Robinson. Never heard of him. This one was fun to do. This is him in his 1945 road uniform with the Kansas City Monarchs. Here's Satchel Paige. Frank Warfield. Now, I should tell you guys, you might be interested to know that each of these portraits, took about, in terms of researching and, drawing them out and then painting them, each one would take about 6 to 8 hours, kind of depending on the complexity of the image. Some of them are a little bit easier than others. So like this one of Home Run Johnson wasn't terribly hard because you just kind of have this figure there and just kind of a blank sky. So that probably was one of the quicker ones, just in terms of painting time. But there are others that are definitely more complicated and probably could have taken closer to 10 hours. So I don't know what that actually ends up being, total-wise, but I'd say there were about, at least 1,500 hours of work on these. And the set is 184 cards, so that's a lot of life. We have Fats Jenkins, Oh, Monty Irvin with the Newark Eagles in 1939. This card I love, and I loved painting this portrait. I just love the Eagles uniform. I feel like in the 1940s, it was kind of plain. It was just kind of like a simple cream color with, a blue eagle swoosh kind of on the front jersey. And this one was different. This was from 1939 and just had little intricate things going on and different reds that were incorporated into the uniform, both kind of in the lettering and the trim and the N on the hat. And I also just really love Monty Irvin, so that was a plus. Louis Tiant. Yeah, this one was a lot of fun too. I loved being able to paint Louis Tiant. He was such an important player in Cuban baseball history, and obviously his son did very well in the big leagues. Josh Gibson with Santurce Cangrejeros, which is, I think, Crabbers. Newt Allen. Hallie Harding. Sorry if there's a little glare here. I'm going to try to make sure that there isn't too much. Alex Pompez. A nice Rube Foster. Him with the Royal Poinciana team, which was basically like a Florida hotel team that a lot of people in his era played for. People like Pete Hill and Foster, and very cool. Card number 23. This is a cool one. This is a Satchel Paige and Josh Gibson kind of posing for photographers before the Negro Leagues World Series in 1942. I always liked this image. Ted Double Duty Radcliffe, classic with the Bismarcks in 1935. Jose Munoz, Pete Hill. This card was also one of my favorites. Or this painting was one of my favorites. I love Pete Hill's face, and I know that Pete Hill was known to have pretty dark skin, so I just kind of imagined him being, on a ball field on like an overcast day, and you can kind of see his skin reflecting a lot of the sky back into, like the purples and lavenders just showing up on his skin so nicely. Perucho Cepeda, Orlando's dad. Chino Moran, Louis Santop. Suttles, Luis Padron, Satchel Paige, William Binga, Jelly Roll Gardner, Virgil Mathis, Tubby Scales, Goose Tatum, Jose Mendez, one of my favorites. Frank Duckin. Satchel Paige with the Birmingham Black Barons. Cool Papa Bell. Cool Papa Bell again. Gus Greenlee. Artie Wilson. Cannonball Jackman. A lot of beautiful cards here. They did a really wonderful job with the set. Martin Dago. Bill Foster, which is Rube Foster's, I think, half-brother. Clint Thomas. Chet Brewer. Josh Gibson. Topeka Jack Johnson, Billy Williams, Walter Ball, Roy Campanella, Turkey Stearns, the great power hitter, very underrated. Jackie Robinson with the 45 Monarchs. Hank Thompson. This was a lot of fun to paint too. I just love the expression on his face and the Dr. Pepper advertisement in the background. Turkey Stearns with the Kansas City Monarchs. Lazaro Salazar, Bill Gatewood, Sam Streeter, Dobie Moore, Slim Jones, Cumberland Posey, Alejandro Ohms, C.I. Taylor, Ashby Dunbar, Vic Harris. Love the look on his face in this card. Billy Perkins, Pop Lloyd, John Donaldson, the legendary pitcher, Satchel Paige, Cristobal Toriente, loved him too. Judy Johnson, Hilton Smith, Wild Bill Wright, Ghost Marcel, Henry Louis Aaron with the Indianapolis Clowns. Wow, very cool. Roy Campanella, Bullet Rogan, one of my favorites to play in the Negro Leagues. Quincy Troop, William Lambert, Henry Kimbrough. Newt Joseph, William Edward White, considered by a lot of people to be the first person to break that color barrier. Rube Foster, Connie Morgan, Eddie Dwight, Terrence McDuffie, Silvio Garcia, Cannonball Dick Redding, Willie El Diablo Wells, also one of my favorites. Bill Bird, Oscar Charleston, considered by many to be one of the best players of all time in the white or black leagues. Larry Doby, Leroy Matlock, George Shively with the West Baden Sprudels, Jimmy Claxton, Ben Taylor, Rap Dixon, Sam Jethro. Let's do this way. Nip Winters, Candy Jim Taylor, Gervasio Gonzalez, Andy Cooper, Mike Gonzalez, Charles Thomas, Rube Foster, like we saw in the box, Moses Fleetwood Walker with the Syracuse Stars, Felton Snow with the Baltimore Elite Giants, Josh Gibson, Rube Foster, Ramon Bragana, Dave Malachar, Sammy Hughes, Bill Cash, Webster McDonald, Biz Mackey, Minnie Mignoso, Bingo Damas, Pancho Coimbre, Cool Papa Bell, Tank Carr, another guy named Josh Gibson, the same guy, George Williams, Satchel Paige with the Baltimore Black Sox, the unknown player with Brown's Tennessee Rats, to kind of represent all of the unknown players from the Negro Leagues over the years that we just don't know about and we can't identify. Frank Wickware, Schoolboy Griffith, Crush Holloway, Smokey Joe Williams, Neil Robinson, Satchel Paige, Spot Poles, Saul White, Bud Fowler, Judd Wilson, Bill Pettis, Ray Brown, William Clarence Matthews, Pete Hill, Willard Brown, John Beckwith, Bill Holland, Rube Foster with the Leland Giants in 1909, Edgar Wesley, Dave Brown, Louis Dials, Effa Manley, the only woman inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame, owned the Newark Eagles, Bruce Petway, Geno Smith, Titelo Vargas, Jackie Robinson, Oscar Heavy Johnson, Doc Sykes, Frank Grant, Esteban Bayon, Leon Day, Home Run Johnson again, the great Buck O'Neil with the Kansas City Monarchs in 1942. Wish I could have met him. Jimmy Lyons, Josh Gibson with the Homestead Grays in 1931. Octavius Cato, Ed Bolden, Eustaquio Pedrosa, Sam Bankhead, Regino Garcia, Tony Stone, Bill Monroe, Dick Lundy, Ray Dandridge, Chappie Johnson, Red Ryan, Satchel Paige, Roy Partlow, Buck Leonard, Buck O'Neil, J.L. Wilkinson, Hurley McNair, Peanut Johnson, Dick Say, Charlie Grant, Cool Papa with the Homestead Grays in 1943, Dizzy Dismuke with the Indianapolis ABCs, and Buck O'Neil. Oh, a nice print of Jimmy Claxton, the Z-Nut card. Very cool stuff. So, this was a lot of fun. Probably went longer than I expected it to go, but this is definitely a lot of fun, and you guys should definitely go pick this set up if you can. You can find them at negroleagueshistory.com. Again, it's 184 cards, and portion of the proceeds goes back to the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum, as well as estates of various players. So enjoy.